Welcome ladies and gents to the first of my Jiu Feng Smuggler Pack 2 review videos. As you probably guessed, today we're covering the Ketchnov, an assault rifle which is a very unique addition to the game, bringing with it a new underslung grenade option which is probably meta-defining as it stands. I've always said that death is the best form of crowd control, but with the ridiculous radius on this shot grenade, that may no longer be the case. I'm going to go in depth on this weapon's other stats as well, comparing it to the only other grenade launcher assault rifle hybrid, the Little Friend. Overall, I think the Ketchnov is a perfect combination of incredibly powerful and seriously fun to use, making this one of my favourite weapon pack DLCs so far. All gameplay you'll be seeing in this video was recorded on death sentence difficulty and played solo with AI. Honestly, I think this weapon is probably going to excel the most in multiplayer, as its insane CC potential can be leveraged even more so with other players cleaning up after you and dealing with the only slightly troublesome enemies in bulldozers. I inserted this weapon into two separate builds for two distinct playstyles. One is essentially just my explosives build, which I showcased recently on the channel with Stoic. Unseen Strike is a huge pickup in this setup, whilst the other is my standard go-to Anarchist Berserker crit setup when I want a weapon just to hit very hard. For the most part, I think you're better off leaning into the underbarrel and rocking something more like the first build, with Bullet Storm and even fully loaded looking like core skills. But this weapon does have some decent options for concealment if you want them. Jumping straight into the statistics, we're looking at a unique damage category weapon here with 88 per shot at base. There's nothing really special about this damage number in terms of reaching high breakpoints, at least not without Berserker or crit as far as I can tell. So expect 2 to 10 bullet kills across all cops outside the bulldozers, depending on your accuracy. Its damage is obviously a lot lower than the Little Friend, which has battle rifle statistics, but it does make up for this slightly underwhelming stat by having a noticeably higher fire rate of 698, relatively average within the class. It also has excellent handling stats out of the box, with 100 accuracy and stability accessible if that's how you want to build it. Its mag size is 20 at base with the opportunity to increase that, and its reload speed with the pretty OP speed mag attachment. It has 80 ammo and a pickup rate ranging between 3.24 and 5.94, a region I'd consider efficient if you're playing conservatively. Also, concealment is set to 8 at base, but the unique KB100 suppressor does offer some great stats if concealment is a concern, reaching a maximum of 14 and fitting into the Anarchist build. Here's how I'd personally run it in a non-concealment orientated build, and here's how it looks at sub 25 detection risk. Honestly, even though the speed pull comes with -3 concealment, it's just too good to miss out on in my opinion. Comparing it to the Little Friend, stat-wise, it's a really tough call. The Little Friend is obviously more of a DMR, a generally stronger weapon category at this stage in the meta, however it doesn't handle quite as well as the Ketchnov, with a fair bit more vertical and sideways recoil to deal with and a much lower ammo pickup rate, mag size and reload speed. I found that with its extra pickup, the Ketchnov, or Groza as it's actually called, is a much more consistent and reliable primary weapon, leaning on my build's secondary a lot less when I was using it. However, it doesn't have that same one-tap potential and can feel like a worse option up against dozers given its lower overall DPS. So on paper, there's not really much between the two of them in terms of viability, which is surely fine as the Little Friend is already an amazing DSOD caliber weapon, meaning the Ketchnov must be just as viable. But the thing is, this new DLC weapon has one feature that makes it feel so much better: the underbarrel reload speed. This is pivotal when using the launcher without Bullet Storm active, meaning you can put a lot more damage and CC down range in a much shorter period of time with the Ketchnov. The thing is, it's not just about that. This reload speed makes the whole weapon feel much better in general. The worst feeling you can possibly have when using the Little Friend is when you forget to reload your launcher before switching back to auto fire. This forces you into that animation when you switch back and want to use it again. With the Ketchnov, this issue still exists, but thanks to the massively increased reload speed, I mean it's almost instant, you'll no longer be animation locked at the least convenient times and will be able to get off a quick nade to deal with a tricky situation instead of standing there defenseless for well over a second. I can't stress enough how many times this simple change has saved my life across just 5 heists wielding the weapon. Speaking of the new underbarrel ammo, the XA1 Tactical Zapper, this is where the power truly lies. It can actually be equipped to any grenade launcher, including the little friend, and has an amazing new visual effect as it spreads the tase status to enemies in the vicinity. As with the single target variation of this effect, it will stun all enemy types outside of bulldozers. In exchange for this powerful effect, depending on the base damage of the weapon you're using, you will lose about 30 to 40% of your total explosive damage. This can be annoying when dealing with heavies on Death Wish and above, but still does enough damage to take out shields in one hit, the primary concern of the underbarrel anyway. The stunned effect on all enemies lasts for about 3 seconds. It can't be stacked, but has no diminishing returns, meaning stun locks can be performed if timed well. It also has a very large radius of effect, so even if it's not doing much damage to an enemy, it can still prevent them from hurting you. Walls and geometry seem to have a very inconsistent interaction with the size of the blast, sometimes swallowing it completely, and sometimes being ignored as all cops on the map burst into the stun effect, as you saw in my earlier meta video. Whilst that video was intended to be somewhat of a joke, this effect is ridiculously strong, probably to the point of being overtuned. With a decent team, I'm imagining you could lock down the entire map for extended periods of time with a bullet storm proc, which is probably not how it was intended to be used. All Overkill would have to do to fix this is reduce the stun duration for repeat incidences. Also, it's worth mentioning that you can stun yourself. This effect is the same as being tased but lasts for only 2 seconds, wasting ammo whilst incapacitated. It's not incredibly clear within what range this occurs, but it seems to be pretty damn close, to be honest. I imagine this was added to stop spamming in groups, but again, if you have decent positioning, it won't be an issue. Just please don't do it on purpose. It sounds like a much too effective method of trolling teammates in the wrong hands. One final note, in testing, at one point I did one-shot a taser, and if we watch carefully in this footage, it looks like the effect was amplified, meaning there may be even more mechanics to this ammo type, making it stronger still. I'd like to try it out with something like the Arbiter to see how crazy we can really make it, but the Ketchnov does a pretty great job already, especially once Bulletstorm goes to work. Overall, this weapon is absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong, the shot grenade is a large part of that and it's not a weapon exclusive, however the small quality of life improvements to how it handles makes it one of the best feeling and most enjoyable weapons in the game. The little friend offers something a bit different, but I generally found that the Ketchnov was a stronger option in most situations for the time being, which is really saying something as the class of weapon is already insanely good. Within Death Sentence, the Ketchnov has already carved out a clear place for itself as one of the strongest weapons in the game, which I'm imagining will only get better and better as people learn to abuse those shot grenades. Even without them, it's a highly serviceable assault rifle with good versatility at all ranges that I think is well worth trying out. Likely the greatest addition to factor into a potential DLC purchase alongside the shot grenade itself. I'll be testing all the other features in their own upcoming videos, but for now, this is the Ketchnov. Get your hands on it through the Jiu Feng Smuggler Pack number 2, link below, and I'll see you all very soon. As ever, thank you very much to my Mean Infamy patrons and above. If you want to join that infamous club to see yourself in the credits or get early exclusive access to my videos, including the story videos, check out my Patreon, link below. Remember the Discord is open to all if you crave some more Payday discussion. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all very soon for the next one.